Hey guys, what's going on? Just want to jump on here and make a quick video today. Just got off the road, got home from a kind of a hard week. Things are kind of crazy right now with slow freight and rates are down. Stock market's up though. Shows you how much it can go up just kind of on sentiment. No companies have reopened or anything. It's just all government stimulus and that. But anyway, thought I'd get home till I made this video. I could sit in my comfortable chair. So freight is slowing down and rates are dropping. See a lot of YouTube truckers talking about, or I don't want to say complaining because it's not a nice thing to say, but talking about freight is cheap and what brokers are doing to us. And I agree. Rates are down, man. And what these brokers are doing to us is unnecessary. It's a bunch of bull as far as I'm concerned. So I agree with them on that. Brokers are keeping 50-60% of the load for themselves, and you're stuck with the rest. And some people have chosen to stay home. I don't blame them. You gotta do what you want to do. I'm continuing to work. I'm okay with the rates I'm getting. They're not what we were getting, but it's still. It's still fine. For me, my average is still right up there. It's not where I want it, but it's close. But work is definitely slowing down. So I agree with them about the rates and the freight and things like that. But I kind of feel like there's a whole half, cut it right down the middle, of the bigger picture that most people are missing here. So I want to talk about it. Half this side over here is freight rates and freight volume. This side over here is you and your expenses in your business. Are we ready to talk about expenses yet? And controlling costs? Because I've done a couple videos about it, and people don't seem to be interested. And in one video, I just got trashed that I was scamming people, trying to sell them a bunch of crap. I was selling nothing. I was just telling you how to save money on different things. I took a beating for it. Hey, I don't know. It's half the picture of running a business, man. The expenses. So remember this. I'm going to give you something here that's worth the admission. After your income is gone, the only thing you have left is expenses. Whether that income is gone because you decided to stay home, which I don't fault you for. Hey, everybody's got that point where they say it's not worth it anymore. I agree. Or because you had to stay home involuntarily because there's no freight, or because your job is you're forced to stay home as part of this thing of what's going on right now. When I say that, okay, so you probably hear a lot of people on YouTube not saying the name of this virus. They'll call it something silly like the beer virus or whatever. I'm just going to say this situation because YouTube is taking down people's videos for saying the word of the disease. Take down your video, take down your channel. That's ridiculous, but I'm just going to call it the situation is what I'll call it. So anyway, you're left with expenses. Now, the government can do what they want. They can say, well, we're going to provide a mortgage relief plan for 6 months. You don't have to pay your rent. You don't have to pay this. You don't have to pay that. Well, that's fine until when the banks start hurting bad enough. They're going to go to the government and say, you got to help us because you're killing us. And they'll put up with it until it hurts them real bad. And mind you, I get it. If you can't pay, you can't pay. I get it, trust me. But just because they provided mortgage relief for this, relief for that, it does not absolve you of your truck payment, your insurance, all these other trucking related expenses that, let's face it, not a lot of people worked hard to address these things when we were getting $3 a mile, $3.50 a mile. Money was great and freight was plentiful. But I think now I'm hoping people are ready to hear it. And just think if you manage your expenses that tight when things were good, think of how much money you'd have left over, how much money you'd have for everything. Incidentally, backing up for a second, talking about the stock market being up. See this hat right here? Just a trivia here, 1,000 points to anybody that can tell me about that company, what their ticker symbol is and what they do. This is like one of my prized possessions here is this hat. It was really hard to get. Anyway, side note there. So, where can we cut expenses? Well, we all kind of know in our personal life where to cut. Business can get a little tougher though, because there's some things you just have to have. And let's face it, if you have a truck right now, you're stuck with that payment. If you have a loan on it, nothing you're going to do get out from under that payment other than not make it and get repossessed. That's another thing people say too. Well, whatever, if my income goes away, I just won't make the payment. You'll make it one way or another, man, because you're going to pay it. They're going to sue you. They're going to repossess the truck, sell it for nothing to one of their subsidiaries, and then put a lien on you for the rest. Put a lien against your home. It make your life suck for a long time. So if you can plan this out and figure it out, you're better off to pay it, along with other things too. So where can we cut? Well, a little money makes a big difference. A little money goes a long way. If you can cut $100, $200 out of your trucking expenses right now, you're all that much better off for it. If you can cut more, that's awesome too. But it's a bad situation we're in right now. I think people are not fully grasping the bigger picture. I'm talking about people outside of trucking, where they're saying, "Oh, everybody needs to stay home. This situation, sickness is so bad. We need to get everybody quarantined." They should be giving the financial aspect of it every bit as much of attention and concern as they are that. But we have what's called normalcy bias in this country because compared to the rest of the world, we're affluent, we're rich. But normalcy bias, people believe that since things have always been a certain way, that they will always be a certain way. And if things get tough, they will always go back to being a certain way. That's just not true with this. I said from the beginning, the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to be. And every time somebody gives a speech, they're indicating that this is going to be long and drawn out. And it's not going to be over anytime soon. Every time they set a deadline, it gets pushed back. So they're telling this is going to be long and drawn out. But we're not hearing it. Some of us are. Some of us get it completely. But overall, we're not hearing it. Read between the lines of what they're saying. And this is not a fair comparison. This is totally off the wall. Let's understand that before I say it. But allow yourself to believe in your mind that in a year from now, we could be eating frickin' dirt sandwiches like the people in Haiti. That's not saying that's going to happen. Just making an extreme comparison. So any place between where we're at now, up here, which hand here? This one? I'm looking backwards in the video. And down here is the people in Haiti. We're somewhere, right up here. How far can we fall? Allow yourself to believe in your mind that you can fall that far because it's possible. All right. There's already big companies saying some big restaurant chains will never open again. They closed. They shut the whole thing down, the whole corporation. And that's happening more and more every day. Now a bunch of meat plants are closing in South Dakota because the workers are getting sick. So we all believe there'll be freight to haul because there's people always need to eat. Well, if people aren't making the food, no food to haul. So then we won't be working, and there will be less food. Okay, what if that illness rocked through the whole Procter and Gamble company, or all of Nestle's? Take any big food company. What if the whole freaking plant got sick? Okay, it's possible. So allow yourself to believe that way and think that way. Anyway, let's get in some ways to cut some costs here. A big one right here is these things, these cell phones, man. Go through your plan. If you're paying for spam filters, call blocking, insurance, if you got a 10-year-old that has a phone, cut it. Your 10-year-old can do without a phone for 6 months. Not saying you can't turn it back on. This hopefully is temporary. Just tell them, listen, it's only for a little while. You'll get over it. If you need a new phone, you don't need to go buy a $1,000 one at the Verizon store or the iPhone store. Motorola.com. I just bought a new phone because this one I've dropped way too many times. The phone in the store is $900 and some dollars. I got it on Motorola.com for $199. Same phone. It's unlocked. You can put it on with any carrier. You can get the top-notch phones on there for a fraction of what you get them at in the store, and then you don't have to make payments on them. So cell phones is a big area. You could cut a lot of money just with that. If you don't need it, cut it. It's only for a little while. You can add it back in later. On the trucking side of things, there's a lot of things we can do for free to save money. This isn't popular, but friggin' slow down. The fuel savings is astonishing. You can't afford to be, hopefully you're not pulling freight for $1 a mile. Hopefully you're getting at least $2 a mile, around there. But it's astonishing how much fuel you'll save. If you got the time, you don't need to be driving 75 miles an hour. I get it. You got to get somewhere. You don't have a lot of hours. I think if you're coming up with every excuse not to slow down, I think you're missing the bigger picture here. The big picture is important. Do you want to be around in 6 months? Keep asking yourself that. Will you do what it takes to get through this? I'm not saying anything personal against you for going fast. I get it. But you got to save money. And slowing down is free. It doesn't cost you anything. As long as you can still get the load there. I get you're under a time crunch. Sometimes you got to. You got to get the load there. But I also understand there's a lot of times we got a little extra time. So at least try it. Okay? Another thing, keep your tire pressures up. It's free and easy. All your truck stops still have, most of them anyway, still have free air. If you got to pay $5 at the Loves to get somebody to air up your tires once a month, at least, do that. The seasons are kind of changing right now, so the weather's still pretty moderate, at least in the north, in the Midwest. Try to cut down your idle time. If you're idling your truck just to watch TV, just skip the TV, man. You'll be okay. If you live in a place where you take the truck home with you, like to your house home, drop the trailer at the truck stop, wash the truck in your driveway. Truck washes are expensive, and some people seem to think they got to have one every friggin' week because you got to keep that truck looking good. Well, guess what? Yeah, but truck washes are expensive, man. And times are scary right now. If I had to make some sacrifices, that would be one of the first to go. Everybody's got a garden hose, It's only, like I said, all these things can be temporary if you want them to. Things go back to normal. Get a truck wash every freaking day if you can afford it. Go through all your trucking insurance. Get it re-rated. Shop it around. I just got my renewal done. Got it down to where I was really happy with it. If you recently paid your truck off, your trailer off, you can go through and re-rate your equipment's value. You can cost down that way a little bit. Drop things you don't need. Make sure you're getting the proper fuel discounts. If you're not happy with the fuel discounts you're getting, pick up the phone and start calling around. Call everybody with a fuel card. That includes brokers. A lot of these brokers, if you haul freight for them, you can get on their fuel plan. If you're independent, or if you're leased onto a carrier, get your fuel through them. Audit your statements to make sure you're getting those discounts. Tire discounts, you need tires right now, but you fear you may have to park your truck for a couple months. Don't go put $4,000 worth of tires on it just to park it in your driveway for 3 months. And if you do need tires and you don't get a good price through anybody around or your carrier, check out that Truckers B2B. Like I said, it's not they got great tire prices. It's not a ripoff. If you got satellite radio in your truck, you don't need it right now. Go to Walmart, get yourself a $15 MP3 player. You don't need a $300 iPod or whatever the hell they're called from Apple. $15, go on iTunes. There's everything you ever wanted to listen to for free. Every time I leave out with about 100 hours of audio on this thing. I haven't turned the radio on in my truck in probably 8 years. Also, if you got unlimited data, Stitcher, Pandora, whatever, you can play anything from your phone, Bluetooth it to your truck radio. Maybe I'll just do a short video tutorial how to Bluetooth your phone to your truck radio. You can play from here through the speakers of your truck. You can also listen to YouTube that way. All right. It's all for free. Eating in your truck, we all got to do that right now anyway. Coupons, man. Coupons are your friend. Every time I come home, I got big flyers in the mail of, that ain't a flyer, that's a catalog. Anyway, from all the fast food chains that we see in the truck stops. Use coupons. No shame in it, man. You save yourself a ton of money. You can't eat in the... you're limited on what you can get to eat right now anyway. If you got satellite in your truck, cancel that too, man. Like I said, you can watch YouTube on your phone. There's movies on there. All kinds of stuff. Get some books. Board games. Whatever. There's all kinds of free entertainment out there. Monthly recurring subscriptions are a killer, and even in normal times, they really add up. So if at home if you're subscribed to different websites, if you got like Butcher Box coming to your home or Blue Apron, stuff like that, cancel that, man. Don't need it. Times are better, add it back in. Don't need it right now. You can cancel gym memberships, can't go right now anyways. You can always add it back in later. If you're stuck at home doing a lot of home improvements, you need tools and stuff, don't buy tools, borrow stuff from your friends. I know what it's like borrowing tools out, man. You get them back broken. Maybe you got a trusted friend, you two can loan stuff back and forth between each other. If you need a circular saw or something and he's got one and he needs a jigsaw, share. A couple big things here that will change your life for the better. Every month since about 2004, I've done a budget. Every month, never missed a month. Some months it's not easy, but sit down and do a personal budget every single month. It'll get to be old habit. You won't mind doing it anymore, but it'll change your life. Not saying you got to be a miser. You can change your budget as much as you want, but do a budget. Attempt to do one for your business. It's hard to do one for your business. I try to do one every month, allocate funds to different places. The key is you can always change them, but sitting down and putting that on paper, it changes something in your mind to where you start to follow it subconsciously, and it changes the way you handle money, kind of. So, try and do that. It's well worth it. And if you have a hard time doing a budget for your business, at least please go back to my cost per mile video. I know the audio is a little funky, whatever, but please start tracking your cost per mile. It'll show you, by default, where you're spending too much money, what your costs are. Because if freight is cheap, and it is, and I'm not saying you should haul this cheap ass dollar mile freight. They can stuff it, but you got to know, man, where your money's going, because it'll slip through your fingers and it'll just be gone. So at least start tracking your cost per mile, please. I know it's not a lot of people like to do book work, and their minds don't work that way. I get that, but at least try it for 6 months. If you don't want to do it, don't do it, but just try it. You might find it's interesting. So I'll leave it at that now. I just kind of want to, purpose of this video is to kind of promote people to change their thinking a little bit on all this stuff, because I think people are missing half of the whole picture. And keep in mind the bigger picture here. There's big things going on, bigger than trucking, bigger than any of us with this whole economy and this whole world. So try to get yourself out of that normalcy biased mindset, because that's key to your survival and your financial survival in a time like this. And I'm not going to get too negative, so I'm going to bring everybody down, but only trying to help. If you have any other creative ways to save money, drop it in the comments below, and let's kind of help each other out here. Maybe together we can make this whole thing work. Take care.